Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look here. Tony and Drew got that stuff hid. They ain't playing no games about this here. Because they're bumping down on them. They want their stuff back. They want it back, and they're not taking no for an answer. Because it ain't no logical explanation to explain why Jordan would have worked the truck that day he ain't been doing, and then Tony and Drew done paid him to do it. Why would they be concerned about who worked the truck? Why? Because they needed to get that bag, and they needed to get it first so they can get out the way. They didn't need Cousin to get their bag first and figure out that something's wrong, because they would have been watching everybody to get off of that truck with a bag. So they don't have everything put up. Everything gets straight. Everything gets secure. But here's the problem. Cousin them know now they going to get that. So when Cousin them bump down on them, they tell them, man, we ain't got time to play. Get up in this cell. Grab him, rough them up, push them on up in there. Now don't get it twisted. Tony and Drew, they ain't no suckers, right? But you can't beat them all. Cousin them go with about 8 of them. Hard, tall, fast, hard hitters. Ain't playing no games and loyal to that C, man. You understand what I'm saying? So when they take Tony and Drew up in there, they tearing the cell up just like they shaking it down like the police. They don't find nothing but a little smoke sack, a little smoke bag, and that's all they find. But see, the big homie know his dope. Them flakes. He said, man, where you get this? Tony and Drew look at him. Man, what you talking about, man? That's mine. My personal. I got that. You know what I'm saying? A week ago. It's just the last of it. He said, yeah, right. Cuz sniff it. It's too fresh. Now listen, I don't do no cocaine. I don't get down like that. But Cuz know that dope. He sniffed it. He ain't snorted, he just smelled it. You know that medication, I'm talking about, y'all know when it first come off that brick, and then, hey, man, look here. Smell just like it. Smell just like it. Straight alcohol. Woo! He said, man, look here. I'm not even gonna play with y'all. I need that back. I need that back. Whatever you done. He trying to get him a pass. He said, whatever you done, I'm gonna chalk that. But you leaving the compound. You gonna leave giving me my stuff back, and I ain't gonna hurt you. Or I'm gonna find my stuff and I'm gonna hurt you and you still leaving. But you leaving the compound. I can't let you stay on the compound. And let me tell you why he can't let them stay on the compound. Politics, y'all. Politics. If he get that back and they stay on the compound, right? If he get that back and they stay on the compound, he gonna be seen as soft. His route, his way that he feed his brothers, the way he take care of his family, that's in jeopardy right now. It's way more than a commissary bag. It's way more than that. It's way more than about that, you know what I'm saying, the dope in the bag. It's about his reputation, his ability to handle the business. See, a lot of times everybody be talking about, well, it ain't worth hurting nobody and killing nobody and all this and that right there, right? But when you live that life, when everybody tell you it's about the principalities and all that, when they tell you that, what they're trying to say is this: my reputation rests in this. And if my reputation rests in this and I ain't taking care of my business, that means what? I ain't nothing, I ain't nobody. Now you see how you get twisted up in that? And you start to think of your identity, who you are, what you are, and how you handle your business is wrapped up in you doing something like that. It ain't no different than when you a CEO of a company or you running a food truck. If you got a spot you pulling up on every week in that food truck and you serving the people, and then all of a sudden you don't show up for 2 or 3 weeks, they say they can't depend on you. Your reputation ain't good. If somebody they can depend on, they're going to go find the food somewhere else. It's just like with that dope game, but it's different in that game when you're dealing with gangsters. It's different. Because if the compound, the peons don't respect you, then the other gang members ain't. And if the other gang members don't respect you, sooner or later, your leadership gonna get questioned. See, in this game, it's dog eat dog. In this game, it's all about who can feed the people that you got following you. Who can feed me? And if you can't feed me, then what good are you? Period. See, all of that was going around in his head. So he gotta make sure that he sends a message about this. So Tony and Drew, they said now they're trying to contemplate what the next move's gonna be. That's around it. He got 8 of the biggest Crips on the compound that I've ever seen. And they working out. And when they work out, all they do is laugh and the more weight they put on the bar bending, the more they laugh about it. I'm like, well, these fools are insane, crazy, and loving every minute of it, and waiting on him to give the order, right? Because he gonna feed them just like when you training them dogs and you giving them that gunpowder and all this and that. Yeah, that's how he get out. He feeding them that dope. Hey, cuz, take care of this. Sure. Hit them up. They high as a kite. They go beat somebody's brains out. What you think they finna do to Tony and Drew? So Tony and Drew, they looking at them. They trying to figure out. They sizing up the situation. So look, man. Just don't hurt us, man. Don't hurt us. Now, you got to understand something. See, old heads, it take a lot for them to bow down. But see, bow down they will. See, back in the day, the move of, all us were young, coming in and everybody affiliated, and back then we could wear our flags and everybody mobbing hard and coming real hard, gangster like that there. Back then, it meant something. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to take pleasure in it. See, that's what the mindset was. It was sick, but it worked. So when Tony and Drew got up and said, man, come on, they took him. They took him back into the laundry room, right? And in the laundry room, you got the dryer. And then behind the dryer, you got this pipe, right, where all the lint be going out. You know how they got the ventilation to go outside the building to be blowing that hot air out? They got the dope up in there. Dope wrapped up real good. They reach up in there. See, now, Big Homie, he got worried because he knew once he got put up in all that heat, he worried about his cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Would it have done something to the cocaine? But they had it wrapped up so good. It ain't do nothing to it. It didn't do nothing to it. But you could smell it. So you know that ether smell was all over outside, right outside the building. You know what I'm saying? If the police would have ever walked by there, they would have probably got a contact. But he get all this stuff, right? Now, in the process of them getting all this stuff, Tony and Drew, now that cousin them satisfied, they got the stuff. They telling them go pack. So Tony and Drew, they see an opportunity. Because they got a couple of butchers here back there too. They up the butcher on cousin them and start swinging. Cousin them, they stayed strapped. They coming back up. They dropped their dope and went back to swinging. I'm talking about, it look like hey, listen to me. I'm serious now. You ever seen a food fight where everybody just throwing and swinging and all this and that, and then they swinging and ducking and all? That's what it looked like, but it wasn't no food they were throwing. It was, listen to me, it was butchers. And they swinging them things fast and hard at each other. And I'm talking about hitting. And all you hear, because you going to scare and look here, I don't care how tough you are. Let somebody hit you with a butcher knife. You going to holler. But see, that mindset of I'm not backing down was so pervasive. You standing there taking them licks and you delivering them too. Now Tony and Drew, you can't beat 9 if you count the Big Homie. 9 individuals. They all got you surrounded swinging. Even though you might be good at it, they just outnumber you. And before long, Tony and Drew started to see it ain't working, so they tried to switch the crowd around. So they swinging and moving at the same time until they get a way to run, and then they strike out running. All you see behind them is the blood dripping up out of them, and cousin them chasing behind them. They done left the dope in the back on the floor. I go tell my number 2, I said, go grab that. I didn't keep it, y'all. Don't get to thinking all that. So I tell them, go grab that, man, because the police coming. And I didn't really care one way or another, that they did, right? But I figured, okay, get the pack, put it up. When cousin them come back, give them they pack. Okay, we got a solid done for them. You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, we don't need them coming into the pod finding a big stash of dope, because then they're going to think it's more dope where they came from, and then they're going to shake down and they might find my stuff. Okay, I was selfish. But that's how it was. And didn't nobody play. So now look, Tony and Drew, they go on to check in. Right? Now they take all of them to the hospital. And the word spreading all over the compound how the Big Homie them done tried to slaughter 2 old heads about the business. They done got in their business. And what that did, that sent shockwaves over the whole compound. Now everybody looking at cousin them ain't playing about they move. Because everybody know what happened now. Even the police know. Jordan even got scared. C.O. Jordan, he even got scared. He transferred to another unit. He didn't want no more, because once they knew that he was in on the tape, he don't feel comfortable no more. He don't even feel comfortable. I think he squared all the way up. He quit taking money and doing anything, if I ain't mistaken. But see, that's what it is in here. See, sometimes when you get involved in the things that's going on in the penitentiary, you got to weigh it up. Weigh up the consequences of what you're doing. Because if you can't handle that heat that's going to come behind it, I recommend you stay out the kitchen, right? Even if it's about some commissary, you're trying to get high, whatever the case may be, right? So when cuz and them come back and they get out of the hole, it took them about 2 weeks. They come back to the compound. They've been sending me notes all the way out there. And I don't be responding to no notes from nobody. Even when brother them be sending me notes. I don't do no right. None of that kind of stuff. I don't do that. So cuz and them sending me notes and stuff like that. Talking about, Joe T, do you know what happened to this and that? I ain't responding to none of it. Nothing. So when they get out of the hole, they still mad and they panicking because that was a big old stash, right? I'm talking about a lot of dope. So they get out of the hole, right? And the big homie come to the cell. I said, man, walk with me, talk with me, right? I said, now what you gonna do now? How you gonna get some money? You wanna buy something? He said, Joe T, man, you know I'm down, man. Mess with me one time. I said, look, come on. We went in the cell. I already had the stuff put up in the cell, right? Since I knew he was getting out. I said, come on, man. We go up in the cell. And as I'm walking in, I got it on the table to the left, right? But see, you can't see it because he can't see around me. And plus the cabinet, the shelf was right there, right? So I go all the way to the end of the cell and then I sit down at the bunk, on my bunk at the head of the bed. I said, sit down. And when I pointed to the table, he see all of his stuff laying on the table. It still has some blood on the packet. He said, Joe T, you looked out for me then. I said, yeah, break me off. Look here, y'all. That's how it is in the penitentiary. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.